In this video, we are talking about the basics of thermal radiation, and also later we will talk about a theory called Prevost theory of heat exchange. First, let's start with thermal radiation. As I told you, thermal radiation is a way of transmission of the heat from one place to another place without any need of a medium for propagation. That means thermal radiation happens through vacuum. Even if there is a medium, it is not going to use the medium, or it is not going to affect the medium in any way. Like light and heat comes all the way from sun to earth. There is a lot of vacuum before it enters into the earth atmosphere, but still it is able to travel, because that kind of a transmission which doesn't need any medium for propagation is called is called thermal radiation. It travels like a electromagnetic wave. So it's a part of electromagnetic spectrum where electric field particle creates a disturbance in magnetic field perpendicularly, and the direction of wave motion is perpendicular to both of them. So it's obviously travels with a velocity of light 3 into 10 power 8 meter per second. It obeys a intensity law, that is inverse square law, that is intensity is inversely proportional to square of a distance, right? It has no effect on medium, right? Radiation is not going to have any effect on the medium. These are the basic properties of the heat radiation that happens in the format of a thermal radiation. So this is the fastest way when compared with all the other ways. Like as I told you earlier, there are two other ways, like a conduction and convection. Conduction happens to solids, convection happens through fluids, whereas radiation doesn't need any medium, and it happens in a quickest possible way. Then we'll go for another topic called something like Prevost theory of heat exchange. How does the heat exchange takes place in radiation is our discussion. Before Prevost, people have a kind of a theory saying that there are two kinds of radiations called, people call that radiations are of two types. One is cold radiations, other one is hot radiation. So people thought cold bodies emits cold radiations, hot bodies emits hot radiations. That's why bodies are cold and hot. But Prevost has dismissed that. Prevost said there is only one kind of a radiation called hot radiation. There is no cold radiation. He said everybody emits only hot radiations but no cold radiations, provided temperature of the body is more than absolute zero. If the body is at absolute zero, there is no emission of hot radiations, because they are all, everything is in a ground state. But if the temperature of any body is more than absolute zero, they always emits heat radiations, but they never emit cold radiations. Prevost also said that number of heat radiations emitted by a body is directly proportional to temperature of the body. More the temperature, more the amount of heat radiations emitted by a body, and vice versa. But there is no cold radiation as per Prevost. There is only hot radiation, and this theory is successful in explaining all our properties. Let me take with an example and explain what do you mean by that. Say that imagine you are a person who are standing next to ice. So both these bodies are having a temperature say more than absolute zero, so both of them emit heat radiations. But if you call this as temperature T1, this as temperature T2, it's very clear the temperature of the human is more than that of the ice. So person emits more heat radiations than what's the heat radiations emitted by the ice. So the other way, what we can say, person loses more radiations than what he gains from ice. So he is losing total number of radiations. That implies as time progresses, his temperature decreases. Whereas the ice lose radiations because of its temperature, but its temperature is less. Therefore, ice lose less radiations than what it gained from the person, from the surroundings. Therefore, ice gains more from the surroundings because I'm assuming that the surroundings are also having a temperature more than that of the ice. Thus, ice temperature increases so that it slowly can be converted into water and so. So, the most important aspect of Prevost theory is there are certain points. There is no cold radiations, but there is only hot radiations. Everybody emits only hot radiations provided the temperatures are more than absolute zero. How many number of the radiations emitted by a body is directly proportional to the temperature of the body. That theory is called Prevost theory of heat exchange. Basing on that, bodies becomes cold or hot, right? That's what the basics of thermal radiation and Prevost theory of heat exchange. We'll soon meet in a next post.